Story 1. Let me smell your penis. The video is hilarious, though. Honestly, I have heard worse, but this one makes me laugh. Story 2. The lap dance is always better when the stripper is crying Bloodhound Gang. So, Bambi's going on about how she can make all my fantasies come true. So I say, even this one I have where Jesus Christ is jackhammering Mickey Mouse in the doo-doo hole with a lawn dart as Garth Brooks gives birth to something resembling a cheddar cheese log with almonds on Santa Claus's tummy? Story 3. Fish Fowl by GWAR. It is on Short Songs for Short People, a fat wreck compilation from the late 1990s where 101 punk bands did a 30-second song. This one has never left my brain. Story 4. Don't bother trying to analyze these rhymes. In this song, I say, forget 93 times. Story 5. Duck Duck Goose by Cupcat Coo starts out with the line, I thought I came but I peed on the dick, and only gets filthier from there. Some of my favorite lines, my cakes got fatter by using cum as the batter. I only call you captain because your dick is off the hook. Riding on that dick, I'm reading Goodnight Moon. It's over the top but hilarious. Story 6. My mom was a bus driver and brought home an old iPod that no one claimed from Lost and Found. We charged it and started to play music from a band called GWAR. It sounded like someone screaming about non-consensually performing a sexual act on another man in a restroom. I may have heard worse, but being next to my mom and hearing that unexpectedly makes it stand out as the most vulgar experience in my memory. Story 7. Mojo Nixon, Tie My Pecker to My Leg, is just so raunchy and hilarious. I need a woman 6 feet 10 inches tall. Gotta be that tall so I can get it all in. Story 8. Too Many by Steel Panther to name. I am partial to Turn Out the Lights though. It is probably not their dirtiest but one of their best in my opinion. Story 9. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that request. Story 10. Not the most vulgar ever, but surely one you cannot easily sing out loud except at the show. Mindless Self-Indulgence. Story 11. Just about every song on the 2 Live Crews, As Nasty as They Want to Be, 1989. The whole album is available online for you to find. Story 12. Psychostick, Not Safe for Work. There are undoubtedly more vulgar songs in terms of pure subject matter and how things are described, but I figured a song where only 8 words are not profanity should probably be given a mention. You cannot play this at a kid's birthday party, that is for sure. Honorable mention for Fucked by an Anchor by Ailstorm and the lovely Disney edit of the song. Story 13. A lap dance is so much better when the stripper is crying Bloodhound Gang. Honorable mention to Merry Christmas by Eazy-E. Story 14. Bull Moose Jackson, My Big 10-Inch, 1952. Johnny Temple Lead Pencil Blues, 1935. Both worth a listen. Story 15. Infant Annihilator Soil the Stillborn. Story 16. It was this Hindi song back in 2000. It was so vulgar. I was in grade 8 and I feel embarrassed to translate it here. I have never been able to find it and have scoured the internet. Story 17. The Rodeo Song. I think that's the title, the one about Johnny being off to the rodeo. I know all the words but should not post them here. Story 18. There is a Portuguese band called Come Restus. They have a song that says to put your hands inside her and clap, which is the least vulgar part of the song. Story 19. You Suck by the Yeasty Girls. Stickball by P. Vert. Story 20. Anything by Steel Panther. Great songs like The Shocker and 2 in the Pink, 1 in the Stink. Story 21. Pussy is Nothing But Lips and Clitoris. Story 22. Vulgar in an entirely different direction, but you have to give props to Tism for He'll Never Be an Old Man River for opening with the line, I'm on the drug that killed River Phoenix, and only becoming more dubious from there, predicting a certain pop megastar's demise many years before it happened. Story 23. Bushido, Gangbang, 2004. It is German, but there are only a few traces left of this song on the internet. Here is the best translation I found. Story 24. It's a sign of the times, I guess. A song that suddenly popped up in my Facebook Reel feed is, Damn, I Just Nut by Humpback Chunk. The video just makes it exponentially worse. If you haven't seen it yet, you are welcome. Story 25. It is not just my opinion, but reading your question instantly reminded me of Trent Reznor and David Bowie being interviewed. Bowie was asked what his favorite Nine Inch Nails song is, and he said Reptile because it is unapologetically vulgar. Story 26. Back in the day, High School Confidential by Rough Trade was considered fairly vulgar, but judging by the comments here about songs today, it was practically church-worthy. Well, maybe not. Story 27. The other version of a pub with no beer involves a barmaid who has gonorrhea. Story 28. I do not know what the song was called, but I was in the car with my sister and her ex-brother-in-law. He was playing a rap song about gang violence, involving one woman with 30 men. It was very unpleasant. Story 29. I feel very innocent compared to these comments, but I guess anything by Cupcake or the song Big Dick Randy. Story 30. As far as real songs that are not just for memes, Old Thing Back by Matoma and the Notorious B.I.G. Story 31. There are worse lyrics, but the Rolling Stones' Star Star on Goat's Head Soup, also known as Starfucker. Classic Stones rock song. Yeah, I heard about your Polaroids. Now that's what I call obscene. Your tricks with fruit were kind of cute. I bet you keep yourself clean. Honey, I miss your two-tone kisses. Legs wrapped around me tight. If I ever get back to New York, girl, gonna make you scream all night. Chorus. Yeah. You a starfucker, 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 star. Yeah, starfucker, 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 star. A starfucker, 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 star. Yes you are, yes you are, yes you are. Story 32. I remember in high school hearing An Animal by GWAR. Most songs by Insane Clown Posse are incredibly vulgar. Hey, come over here and let me kick it to you. Tried to stick my nuts in you, then I never knew you. So you wanna fool around, always gotta mess around. Lift up your ding-a-ling, nothing but a bug you found. They call you funky nuts because you like funky but scratching and biting. Then they call you monkey nuts. That's just the surface. Story 33. I do not listen to explicit music, so the worst I have heard is what was forced upon me. Vet espushi by Cardi B. Story 34. Not the most vulgar, but I can't believe that Detachable Penis by King Missile was played on the radio often. Story 35. Probably something by Cupcake. She does not hold anything back. It is art, chaos, and a little terrifying all at once. Story 36. I Want to Love You by Akon, censored radio title. Also Hypnotized by Plies and Akon. As far as new metal and alternative metal go, Korn, especially on their album The Other Side. I love that one. Story 37. I do not know. It is probably a gore grind song, but I cannot understand the lyrics. I likely stopped listening after 10 seconds because I look for good bands and find a lot of poor quality music on my journey. Story 38. I'm a huge Misfits fan. However, if you read the lyrics to their extremely catchy song Last Caress, you can't help but wonder how they have not been canceled for it. Story 39. NWA. Just Do Not Bite It. NWA. Just Do Not Bite It, unreleased alternate version. Story 40. There is a band called Acidic Vaginal Liquid Explosion generated by mass amounts of filthy fecal fisting and sadistic septic syphilitic sodomy inside the infected maggot-infested womb of a molested nun dying under the roof of a burning church while a priest watches and experiences immense perverse pleasure over his first fresh fetus. However, if we are talking about purely the vulgarity of an individual song's lyrics, it would have to be Swinecologist by Infant Annihilator. Story 41. Depends on the day, but Fish Heads by Barnes & Barnes is a strong contender. That or my aunt's karaoke renditions of I Will Survive. Story 42. There's a temple in Kerala, India, where you are required to sing very vulgar songs in order to make the deity happy. Try Kodungalar Temple. Story 43. Had an ex-girlfriend who listened to that all the time. I always thought, who listens to this music? I found out so many do. I also learned that year why you shouldn't date flight attendants. Story 44. I mean, we had a song called Wet Ass Pussy at #1 in the charts. I had to tell my 9-year-old niece off for simulating sex acts she had seen in the video for a song being played on primetime television. Modern society, huh? Story 45. Forget its name, but the opening was, "It was on the good ship Venus. By Christ, you should have seen us." The figurehead was a woman in bed, and the mast was a mammoth penis. Story 46. Chut Volume 1 by the one and only Honey Singh debated. Story 47. With the stipulation that it is a party starter, ain't no fun. I think people just ignored the raunch in favor of the party. It is a bit much, but by far not the most vulgar. The most vulgar is going to be some unlistenable Norwegian metal song we cannot hear because it is evidence. Story 48. Somebody say, "Hey, we want some." Story 49. The Ballad of Eskimo Nell. In the street of 1,000 troublemakers, beneath the sign of the swinging figure, the good ship Venus. He was on the good ship Venus. By God, you should have seen us. The figurehead was a woman in bed, performing an act on a deceased man. Traditional British rugby songs from a genre that explores every possible depth of depravity. I even had a vinyl album back in the 1970s. Not sure where it went. Story 50. Blind Man's Penis by Ramsey Kearney. What you are hearing is a song poem in which someone sends their lyrics to a specialty record company that creates a song and presses a number of 45 RPM records based on these lyrics. It is the equivalent of a vanity press in the book publishing world. Ramsey Kearney decided to test this theory by sending in the most vulgar lyrics to see if the song poem company had any morals or if they would reject the submission outright. They did change one lyric from "Stevie Wonder's penis is erect because he is blind" to "A blind man's penis is erect because he is blind," but they left everything else intact. Story 51. The sweary version of "Hello John, Got a New Motor?" by Alexei Sayle. Story 52. David Allen Co-Linda Lovelace. It is raunchy as hell, but then has this chirpy little tune that is so catchy that I actually like the song. It is hilarious. Story 53. I don't know if it can count as vulgar, probably yes, because I find it also artistically brilliant. Big Bad Wolf by Duck Sauce, especially the video. Otherwise, I also like Forget the World by Insane Clown Posse. In that song, the artist mentions the word forget multiple times. Story 54. While not the most vulgar, my favorite songs were already listed. This paints a sinister picture. In the Trunk by Tech 9. Story 55. If you were talking about a song played by a band, it is called Raped by Elephants. I do not remember the band name. If you are referring to a YouTube poop about Nickelback's Rockstar, but it is Dickleback, involving gay porn stars. Story 56. If you could understand what they are saying, you would understand why there are many grindcore bands feeling very disrespected right now. Story 57. Friggin' in the Riggin' by the Sex Pistols, around 1979. According to Wikipedia, there is more history behind the song than just that. Story 58. Hit Them Up by Tupac is up there. Off the rip. That's why I messed with your girl. You fat motherfucker. Damn. Story 59. Country Boner by Pussifer. A rare parody country song by Maynard James Keenan where he, as his parody character Billy D., sings about being intimate with many famous country music stars and still cannot lose his erection, also known as his country boner. Story 60. Dr. Dre, Pause for Porno. Not really a song, but it is on an album. 13-year-old me listening to it for the first time. Story 61. Check out an old-school punk band from the United Kingdom called the Pork Dukes. Contemporaries of The Clash and the Sex Pistols, these guys could really play too. Their songs were exceptionally rude, with titles like Big Tits, Throbbing Gristle, Telephone Masturbator, and Making Bacon. Very funny. Story 62. It's a song from the 1950s called Till the Cows Come Home. I remember a comment saying it made Wireless Application Protocol sound like a Bible verse. I haven't heard it in years, though. Story 63. Anything by Infant Annihilator, but listen to their song Unholy Gravebirth. The instruments are intense, perfect for fans of the heaviest metal you have ever heard. However, the lyrics are extremely shocking and disturbing. I wish I never looked them up. If we are talking purely about sexually explicit content, definitely check out the song Sexorcist by Necro, especially the music video, which is very intense. Story 64. Slob on my knob around 1999. This was pretty vulgar. Had a great bass line if you had 12-inch speakers in the trunk. Story 65. I'd like to teach the world to fap. Not the most vulgar, but one that is simple. Story 66. Now he's a poof by the Mac Lard. 16-year-old me thought it hilarious. I read the lyrics recently and died inside. Story 67. I love women. When I walk into the club, I am excited. All the women's attention is on me. Feels good. They will rub me all night. I am your partner, so please show me affection freely. Without a shirt, I touch you gently, and you respond with joy. You forget everything when you are relaxed. When you reach pleasure, suddenly the whole club is watching. It is normal. I place my hand gently on you. Story 68, well, maybe not vulgar. Funny and crude, I suppose, more than anything. Some may find it vulgar, though. Story 69. Quack like a duck, greatest of all time and your mother. You really need the visuals of a live performance to get the full impact, though. Story 70. My friend used to listen to a song where the only discernible lyrics were sucking on my balls, but their overly accentuated fake accent made it sound like sucking on my bowels. Pretty gross in either interpretation. Story 71. Duck Sauce Big Bad Wolf. It is more the images than the vulgarity of the song itself. Quite explicit. Story 72. Samuel what in the butt. Story 73. TTC. Girlfriend. Therapy taxi salope. Oral sans Saint Valentin. Médon, gentiment, je t'aime. Outpost chiens. Story 74. As a kid, I had not heard anything ruder or funnier than the Ball of Carrymere. I read it at age 13 with a group of friends, laughing at the lyrics. Childish stuff, but I have yet to hear anything more vulgar. Story 75. Good ship Venus or friggin', in the rigging has to be in the running. Story 76. Pregnant pussy underground kings. I like them in general, but that song is one of the most vile things I have ever heard. Story 77. Stagger Lee by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. This live version from Public Broadcasting Service is incredible. Story 78. Headpiece Only in America is one of the most vulgar albums I have heard. I believe they intentionally tried to provoke with the lyrics and content. It is difficult to pick out only one song. Story 79. Very much a fan of Country Boner by Pussifer. You know, just in case you want to hear the guy from Tool sing some dark songs about Johnny Cash. Story 80. Quite a Lot by Kevin Wilson. I genuinely thought that stuff was confined to my youth. Imagine my surprise when staying in Hastings a couple of years ago and walking into a pub that was playing this out loud. Turns out it was a National Front pub, and we quickly stepped out. Story 81. Anything by the Mac Lads, and Hey Santa Claus by Kevin Bloody Wilson. Story 82. My Neck, My Back by Kia. I heard it once and immediately felt like I needed a shower, a Bible, and a long talk with my grandmother. Story 83. Not the whole song, but Slipknot's song, Disaster Piece opening lyrics are, I want to slit your throat and fuck the wound. Poignant. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.